Hi everyone, happy Sunday, and thank you to our viewers for tuning in. Today we have a great show prepared for you guys.
Excited.
So how was everyone's week? Good?
It was good.
Very good.
All right, so I want to start talking about what's going on around the world. So this week, while it was on Sunday, while everyone was mourning the loss of the 17 lives of the terrorist attack that occurred in Paris, you know, some people were wondering why wasn't the international community grieving the same about the 2,000 lives that were lost in Nigeria just this month. So I'll give you guys a couple facts and then I want to know what you guys think. So since 2009, Boko Haram, which means Western education is forbidden, has become increasingly involved in raids and bomb attacks against the Nigerian government and civilians, schools, police stations, and federal buildings and churches. They're also claimed responsibility for the kidnapping of the 300 girls from last year that occurred in April. So, you know, and on January 3rd of this year, it's been reported that the group has killed as many as 2,000 civilians in Baga, Nigeria, and surrounding towns. A counterterrorism official told NBC News that the militants went door to door, killing families and then strategically placing improvised explosives in the streets to funnel survivors into areas where the firing squads were. So my question to you ladies is, what do you think about the way the media has been handling it or how it's been discussed? You know, what happened in Paris was tragic, not to say the least, but 2,000 lives and it's not getting as much coverage or conversation, you know? So I just want to know what you guys think about that.
I guess my thoughts on that are the fact that, you know, as like our U.S. Constitution, our rights, one of our main thing that I feel like is so necessary here is freedom of speech. And with it being in Paris, you know, it being a magazine that, you know, the Je suis Charlie thing, like it's about the freedom of speech. And I think it really is targeting that little moment. I'm not saying that those other lives, those 2,000 lives, those 300 girls, like, I'm not saying that they're irrelevant, but I'm saying because it was a freedom of speech and there was like already articles that the magazine, Charlie Hebdo, sorry, pronunciation, but was posting these little comic strips regarding the Muslim, like, community and just, I mean, it was back and forth, so, like, just taking a little bit of a stab at it. And so I think it's become such a media thing because it's a magazine, it's a media source itself, and they were targeted back.
And a lot of the things too is just like people cover stories that are going to get more views. A lot of people will be, sad to say, more concerned about what's going on in Paris than 3,000 lives that are being taken in Africa, because every other year, a couple of years or so, there's something bad going on in Africa, and after a while it becomes a drain source for information, for stories. So why not take it to Paris? It's sad that, you know, these lives in a sense don't matter as much as far as media coverage, but that's just,
yeah, I think it's really sad. I saw most of the media coverage on the social media from Paris and also on when you look up the news networks, but I've hardly seen any for what happened in Nigeria. Like, I had to actually go and read my own articles to learn about what happened. You know, I was able to just go on my Instagram the first day it happened and see hours before the incident happened in Paris and see about what happened from people postings. What they post, save for Paris. You know how everyone posted the screens?
Charlie.
And there was so many other ones. Help for Paris.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
There were a couple. Yeah.
Everyone makes the memes really quickly and they post it on their Instagrams and on their Facebooks and on Twitter. But I had to read up my own articles just to find it. It's not fair.
The thing about the Je suis Charlie thing is the fact that, like, I mean, I like to write. I'm a writer. I did high school paper, just stuff like that. I take to Twitter every single day. I tweet all day long. My favorite thing about that is that they're saying, I am a writer, I am Charlie, I am freedom of speech is what they're saying. It's not necessarily just about the magazine. It's like saying, I am that freedom. I am that freedom that you are denying, like that magazine, by you killing all their writers, their people, their cartoonists. You're killing those people, but they're saying, like, I am that person, I am that voice. that voice that you're not hearing. And I'm not saying that these people aren't in Nigeria aren't important. I'm saying that they probably, I mean, resources have shown in like places like, you know, third world countries or whatever, they just don't have the same outlet and resources, you know, to go on their social media and tweet about it, or you know what I mean. So they need a voice as well. They really do. But as of right now, that's just not where it's at.
You know, this is not something that's a black or white issue. So it's a sensitive topic, and you know, I think that as individuals, you know, we need to be careful with what we are reading into, buying into, and paying attention to. We should always research to see what's really going on, you know. So, but to sum it up, let's talk about what just happened on Friday. The Supreme Court decided to hear the issue of whether banning same-sex marriage is unconstitutional. So, again, brief facts. The court had before it 4 petitions from 4 states, from Ohio, Tennessee, Kentucky, and Michigan. And these are the states that recently went against the national trend to allow same-sex marriage. Now, earlier this month, Florida became the 36th state to allow same-sex marriage in addition to the District of Columbia. And as we know, on June 26, 2013, the Supreme Court did make a decision on several parts, rejecting parts of the 1996 Defense of Marriage Act. But they did not decide on whether banning same-sex marriage was unconstitutional. So, couple questions. First, do you think that this is something the Supreme Court should decide for the country to say, you know what, it is unconstitutional to ban same-sex marriage, each state should allow it? Or do you think it's up to the states to decide if they want to allow same-sex marriage? That's my first question. So,
I think the Supreme Court should have taken action on a lot of things a long time ago, because if you're just basing it off of the fact that we're the land of the free, everyone's supposed to have all of these rights, and no one should be able to tell you which religion to practice or which school you should go to, then yes, they should have the right to get married if they want to. They're not in my bedroom, so it doesn't really affect what it is that I do. If I wanted to get married as a straight woman, the Supreme Court couldn't tell me who I can marry.
So, do you think they should decide on?
I think there should just be one. Like, let's get it over with. Everyone get on board. This is America.
Yes.
And let it be. You're beating a dead horse. There's going to be homosexual relationships. It's all over television now. It's everywhere. And this is where you're supposed to be able to come and do that.
Stella's boiling over here.
Separation of church and state, 1. 2, gosh, I can't even tell you how passionate I am about this, because I don't think it should be an issue ever at all. It's not any kind of government's place to say like who can love each other and who can't love each other, who can get married and who can't. I don't know why I have to go get a license to marry somebody. That makes no sense to me. Like, should I have to have a license? I mean, maybe some people should have a license to have children, but I just
So
don't,
do you
I don't
believe
understand.
that the Supreme Court should
they
do
should
that?
just get it over with. Like she said, just get it over with. This is such a stupid, for lack of a better word, issue. Like, it should not be an issue. Like, you should freedom to love who you love. Like, I love people as people, who they are for a person, not.
That's going into my next question before you go there. But what do you think?
Yeah, I feel like it really contradicts itself, because they are making a big deal. If this is a country, the land of the free, you're able to speak and say what you want to say, and you should be able to express yourself. And there's cutting off expression. And I'm not against anything. Everybody gets their own choice. They're able to have their own feelings for people, whether you like. And whether you're straight, whether you're gay, whichever way you go, however you feel, it shouldn't be the government's opinion. You know. So
do you ladies, you don't think the Supreme Court should decide on this? I'm not sure.
No,
I feel like since we do have the states, they actually help with, you know, more with the community with what we want. So it should be the state to make the decision.
So you think the state should decide?
Since that's
okay, I will tell you this. I'm in my 3rd year in law school, and I understand how the powers the federal government has, and I understand the powers the state has, but I believe that it's something that should be universal. I don't think that we should be able to get, you know, same-sex marriage should be allowed in New York and not anywhere else, because
yeah.
you know, then okay, you're married here, but here it's not acknowledged, you know. So I think it's something that should be decided. I'm excited to see where it's going to go. I'm excited to see how the Supreme Court is going to handle this issue. So my next question is just very simple: yes or no, or do you believe that you should, you know, do you believe it's unconstitutional to ban it? Do you believe that you have the right to choose whom you want to marry? Doesn't matter the sex.
Everyone should have the right.
Absolutely.
Doesn't matter the sex.
I go. So we all agree there.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. Yeah. So good. I'm glad we all agree there. And the last thing I want to talk to you guys about is Woody Allen announced this week that he is teaming up with Amazon, and he will be doing a web series with Amazon. Now, we all know that he has had a history of allegations, you know, with his stepdaughter, and there's been a lot of controversy there. So I bring this up because I find it interesting, considering what's been going on in the past couple months with Bill Cosby, and how, you know, more than 26 women, so I've heard recently, have come out and brought up these allegations against him, and he's been pulled out of networks.
Yeah.
You know, pulled out immediately, you know, and Stephen Collins with his wife recording him, okay, where he discusses what his sexual abuse history, not to get into details, but he had an interview about a month ago on a Friday night, and he came out and talked about what he did. And it was like, you know, by Monday, everybody forgot about it. So I just want you guys' opinion on these kind of events and how you feel about them, you know?
As to why we're sweeping some things under the rug versus sweeping others, or not sweeping anything. Like, there's just, like, it just keeps going out, and we keep talking about it. I mean, it's an issue. It's been an issue. It's hard to go into the Woody Allen thing. I mean, there are actual facts.
Yes.
I mean, like, you know, the Stephen Collins fact thing, or he admitted it. You know, it's just Woody Allen has so many facts against him. His daughter with Mia Farrow came out saying, like, all these things, you know, accused him of whatever, and I'm not saying it was just accusations. I'm not saying it's true or it's not true, or it's just, why is he still making films? I mean, some people think he's brilliant, and some people don't prefer his movies, but others are just like, he married his adopted daughter. Like, why is that not an issue when, okay, Bill Cosby did this and that with
well, let's not, you know, it's a sensitive topic again. I don't want to make it seem like these women are lying.
Right.
But I just think everyone should be afforded the same opportunity, in the sense that these are allegations. Let's treat them as such. So we have to, just like if someone accuses you of something, investigate it and give that person the opportunity to defend themselves. Exactly. He hasn't been given that, and I'm not saying I defend him or I don't. He hasn't been given the same opportunity as.
Right.
And I feel like no one really respects their privacy anymore. It's like, I understand the stance that he's taking, where it's like, I'm not even going to entertain, I'm not going to say anything, because I know what I did, I'm going to say it once, I didn't do it, and I'm not going to keep coming 25, 26, 27 years later and saying that it wasn't me. I think, personally, that that's a load of crap, for the most part.
Well, that's...
Or, let me put it this way, to put it more sensitively, I think that it's not something that should be publicized. If it's something, you know, we were talking about a woman being violated, that shouldn't be in anybody's media for anyone to have any opinion on. So,
well, again, these are sensitive topics, so it's not like we can just hash them out in the short amount of time we have here. But.
And now people are actually speaking out about it, but I actually agree that Bill Cosby's doing the right thing. He shouldn't be speaking on it. Just keep quiet until proven guilty. Until there's actual proof.
He won't be proven guilty because the statute of limitations has run out for some of these cases. And
there's so many stories that's been happening, but it's just stories. It's not meant, like, they weren't recorded.
Well, a lighter note, tell us about some